Forest is a place on Earth so vast, so alive that millions have entered it, yet no one truly knows everything inside it. Image standing at the edge of Amazon rainforest, the air is thick, heavy with moisture. Every breath feels warm and unfamiliar. The sunlight struggles to reach the ground, trapped above by endless selling of tangled branches. Around you, the forest hum not quietly but relentlessly. Insect buzz like the distant machinery, but scream from invisible perch, and something move in the underground, but you cannot see it. And even you realize something unsettling. You are not exploring the forest is observing you within the first few steps. The outside world disappears, GPS signal weaken, pace vanish, direction lose. Meaning the deeper you walk, the more the jungle close behind you, swallowing every sign you were ever there. The Amazon is not just a forest, it's a living bird, baby bird covering millions of square kilometers of green ocean so immense that the entire civilization has frightened, vanished, and been forgotten. Beneath its canopy, every year explorers, scientists, and adventurers search for discovery. Some uncover a new species never seen before by science, other ancient ruin hidden for centuries. But there are also stories rarely discussed, stories of people who lost their way within hours of experience, guys who suddenly felt overwhelming fear of strange sound echoing in the night where no animal should exist. Local tribes speak of spiritual that guard sacred territory. Survival describe moment when the jungle sudden full silence, the silence so complete it feels unnatural, as if the forest itself is holding its breath, and then the sound return louder than before. The Amazon forest produces its own weather, its own river, even its own mystery. Storms appear without warning. The Amazon forest is not simply a forest, it is the largest and most complex ecosystem on Earth, stretching across enormous portion of South America like a living green continent, covering approximately 5.5 million square kilometers. The Amazon spans 9 countries with the majority lying in Brazil, while vast extend to Peru, Colombia, Venezuela. From above it appears endless, an ocean of green so dense that human structure almost disappears beneath its canopy. At the heart of this massive ecosystem flows the Amazon River, the most powerful river system in the world. Thousands of tributaries branch outward like veins, carrying life deep into a region untouched by modern civilization. During the rainy season, water level rises dramatically, flooding entire forests and transforming dry land into temporary underwater world. Geographically, the Amazon basin is remarkably diverse. Towering trees rise over 60-meter height, forming layer of vegetation zone long before humans walk its soil. Before river curve their winding pace, and before the first animal calls this place home. The Amazon rainforest was born from force older than humanity itself, a story written in fire, water, and time. Millions of years ago, South America looked completely different. Around 1 million years ago, during the age of dinosaurs, the continent was still separating from Africa as an ancient supercontinent gone were broke apart. What would eventually become Amazon basin was one dominated by shallow sea and wetland rather than dense jungle. The transformation began when massive geographical shift reshaped the continent. The slow but relentless rise of Andes mountain range dramatically altered the flow of water across South America. Before the Andes existed, rivers flowed westward towards the Pacific Ocean, but as the mountain rose higher, they blocked this ancient waterway, forcing water to reverse direction and flow. It was this that the monumental change gave birth to Amazon River system, a vast drainage network that would eventually nourish the largest rainforest on Earth as sediment accumulated over millions of years. Fertile soil formed across the basin. Warm equatorial temperature, constant rainfall, and abundant sunlight created perfect conditions for plant life to explode in diversity. Forests expand rapidly, evolving into a dense ecology unlike anything the planet had ever seen. By around 55 million years ago, early versions of Amazon rainforest were already thriving. Planet adapted to the intense competition for sunlight, growing taller and developing broad leaf to capture energy. Animals evolved alongside them, creating intricate in relationship between predator and prey, pollinatory and parent survival and adaptation. But the Amazon history is not only geological, it's deeply human. For thousands of years before European exploration, the rainforest was home to complete indigenous civilization. Contrary to early colonial belief that the jungle was untouched wilderness, archaeological discovery revealed that millions of people once lived throughout the Amazon basin. Ancient communities built sophisticated society along river and forest clearing. They developed advanced agriculture techniques, cultivating crops such as cassava, maize, cacao, and various fruit suited to tropical conditions. However, the greatest innovation was the creation of terra preta, or dark earth, a rich man's soil produced by mixed charcoal, organics, weight, and nutrition. This allows sustainable farming in regions previously thought infertile. Large settlements connected by trade routes existed deep within the forest. Some researchers now believe that the Amazon was carefully managed landscape rather than wild untouched nature. Forest garden, controlled grading, and selective pruning have shaped biodiversity long before modern conservation science emerged. Everything changed in the 16th century when European explorers entered South America and they encountered both the immense river and the civilization living along it. Early expeditions searching for gold and Mexico City, including legend of El Dorado, traveled through the region, documenting vast population and thriving community. However, contact brought devastating consequences. Disease introduced by outsiders spread rapidly among indigenous people who had no immunity. The entire culture disappeared within decades, leaving abandoned settlements slowly reclaimed by vegetation. The forest grew back over village, road, and cultivated land, creating the illusion of untouched wilderness. The modern Amazon in many ways is a reborn forest, one shaped by both natural evolution and lost human history. Throughout the century that followed, explorers, scientists, and adventurers were drawn into the jungle. Naturalists studied strange species never before seen by science. Rubber bumps in the 19th century brought economic expansion but also exploitation and environmental damage. Remote regions remain large unmapped, reinforcing the Amazon reputation as a mysterious and unknownable place. Today, the satellite technology reveals ancient earthwork, geologic structure, and hidden settlement beneath the canopy, suggesting that the Amazon still holds secrets about humanity's past. The rainforest stands as a living archive, recording geological upheaval and ecological rebirth. Every tree, river, and hidden clearing carry traces of ancient events that shaped not only South America but the entire planet, climate, and biodiversity. The Amazon is not merely old; it's ancient in memory. And beneath its endless green canopy lie a history far deeper than anyone once imagined, a story still unfolding, still waiting to be fully understood. Long before satellite capture its endless green canopy from space, long before explorers struggled through it, The Amazon was already ancient beyond imaginations. About 140 million years ago, South Africa and Africa was divided as a part of the supercontinent Gondwana that as tectonic force slowly tore the landsmass apart. South America drifted westward into isolation. The region that would one day become the Amazon basin was not yet a forest. Instead, it was a flat landscape of shallow inland sea, swamp, and sediment-filled plain. The most transformational came millions of years later with the rise of Andes, a mountain, as the Natagato pushed beneath South Africa. A normal mountain began to rise along the continent's western edge. This project took 10 millions of years, but its impact was revolutionary. Before the Andes formed, the ancient river flowed west toward the Pacific Ocean. When the mountain rose high enough, they blocked the waterway entirely. Water has nowhere to go. This geological event formed climate pattern. Moisture from Atlantic Ocean moved inland, trapped by the Andes, creating near constant rainfall. Warm temperature and abundant water reduce ideal conditions for a planet to flourish. Dense vegetation spreads rapidly, evolving into one of the richest ecosystem ever known. By roughly 55 million years ago, the foundation of modern Amazon forest was established. Plants compete fiercely for sunlight, growing solo and forming multi-layer canopy. She evolved massive root systems to survive thin soil. Animals adapted alongside them. Insects specialized for pollination. Birds developed vibrant plumage, and mammals learned to live high above the ground rather than the forest floor. The Amazon became the laboratory of evolution. Yet the Amazon story is not only natural, it's deeply human. For thousands of years before European contact, indigenous people lived throughout the forest. Early explorer one described the jungle as untouched wilderness, but modern archaeology has overturned this myth. Evidence now shows that large organized society thrived here long before colonization. No, indigenous community developed sustainable farming methods adapted to tropical conditions. They cultivate crops such as cambasa, peanut, cacao, fruit, and careful managing forest resources without destroying them. Rather than conquering the forest, this civilization worked with it. They shaped the environment through selective planting, controlled burning, and forest gardening. Practices that increased biodiversity in terms of reducing them. Many fruit and nut trees common today have been intentionally spread by ancient people. Then in the 16th century, everything changed. European explorers entered the Amazon searching for gold, wealth, and legendary cities such as El Dorado. The expedition explored densely populated river bank and advanced community. However, along with exploration became disease, smallpox, measles, and influenza spread rapidly among indigenous population who had no immunity. Within decades, the entire society collapsed. By the time later explorers arrived, the Amazon appeared wide and untouched, its human history hidden beneath layers of vegetation. During the 19th century, the region experienced another transformation, building a rubber bomb. A global demand for rubber drew thousands of settlers deep into the jungle. Cities expanded rapidly, fortunes were made, and brutal labor for the exploited worker and the indigenous community. When synthetic rubber later replaced natural source, many boomtowns were abandoned, leaving ghost settlers swallowed once again by the forest. Throughout the 20th and 21st century, scientific exploration revealed even more secrets. Satellite imagery uncovered massive geometric earthwork ancient settlement and engineer landscape previously invisible beneath dense iconographic cover. This discovery suggests that millions of people have lived across the Amazon long before modern history recorded them. Today, the Amazon forest stands both as a natural wonder and historical mystery. It's a place shaped by shifting continents, evolving species, forgotten civilization, and cycle of destruction and renewal. Every river bank and towering tree carry traces of ancient geological force and lost human story. The forest is not simply old. Deep within the offering Amazon forest, where sunlight barely reaches, the forest's fall and string sounds echo through endless green corridor. Science does not hold all the answer. For thousands of years, indigenous tribe has believed that the jackal alive not just with animal and plant, but with spirit guardians, ancient folk, rather than humanity itself. To those who live near the Amazon, the forest is not merely a place; it's a presence. With a presence, a watching word. One of the feared legends tells the sea Kurupia, a mysterious guard spirit of the forest, describes as a small humanoid figure with white hair, red hair, feet to turn backward. The Kurupia is said to protect animals from hunter and punish who wish to restrict nature. It reverses footprint confused tracker, looking deeply into the jungle until they become hopeless lost. Many hunters claim to hear whistling sound when they wander too far from to forbidden area. Some reporters feel watch sensing movement be just beyond the tree, only to find nothing there. According to traditions, these are warnings from Sipuria itself. Another chilling figure from Amazonian folklore is the Mampiguari, a giant slope-like creature said to roam remote regions of the forest. Legend describes as enormous cover in thick fur, with terrifying mouth located in its stomach. Its creature believed to emit a foul odor strong enough to paralyze anyone nearby. The scientists dismiss the story as myth. Some researchers have speculated that ancient memory of extinct megafauna, massive round, thought that once lived in South America. Many may inspire this tale, yet local community exists that may be guardian is not fossil memory. They believe it still works in part of jackal untouched by humans. The legend carried a deeper cultural meaning, a warning about unknown forces hidden within Amazon waterway where visibility is limited and danger is often arise sadly. But perhaps the darkest story involves the spirit of the forest itself. Many tribes believe certain regions of Amazon are sacred and must not be entered. These areas are said to be inhabited by ancestral spirits and entities that protect ancient land. Shamans speak of invisibility when animals grow sadly and the air feels unnaturally heavy. Explorers unfamiliar with this belief sometimes describe similar experience, sudden disorientation, overwhelming fear of clear course, or the strange sensation that the forest is pushing them away. Some indigenous tradition describes the jackal as a living intelligence, a fast and connected system capable of responding to human intention. Respectful visitors are guided safely, so who explore or handle land visit invite misfortune. Story also tell the phantom sound deep within the forest, distant dumb where no village exists, voice carried by the wild and footstep pacing just beyond visibility. Whether this experience arises from psychological stress, animal activity, or something unexplained, this is reinforced the Amazon reputation as a world where reality and myth blur together. Even modern researchers sometimes admit that prolonged exposure to the rainforest alters perception. The constant humidity, isolation, darkness, and overwhelming biodiversity create a sensory overload. In such conditions, imagination and environmental merge, giving life to ancient fear embedded deep within human consciousness. Cultural beliefs surrounding the Amazon emphasize balance. The forests provide food, medicine, and shelter, but only to those who respect its rule. Many indigenous groups form rituals before entering deep jungle or area, asking permission from unseen guardians. To outsiders, this practice may appear symbolic. To those who live there, they are essentially for survival. What makes Amazon folklore unique is that it does not separate the supernatural from the nature world, spirit, animals, river, and treat this as a part of living system. Legendary function not only as story but as ecological wisdom, teaching respect for environmental capable of sustaining life or taking it away without warning, and perhaps that's why the myths endure. Because in a place as vast and explored as Amazon forest, mystery is inevitable. But these remain regions where humans never ever walked, where they never mapped, and species you unknown to science. In such a world, the line between legend and reality became dangerously thin. The deeper one travels into the Amazon, the quieter the outside world becomes, until only the forest remains, breathing, watching, guarding secrets that we will never see revealed. The Amazon rainforest is often described as Earth, with its wildness, vast beauty, and full of life. But beneath this vibrant ecosystem lies a darker reputation. Every year, people enter the Amazon and never return. Some vanish without trace, leaving behind only unanswered questions swallowed by the jungle. The scale of the Amazon itself makes disappearance terrifying easy, covering millions of square kilometers across multiple countries. The forest contains regions that are so remote that rescue team may take days or even weeks to reach them. Then vegetation, both visibility, rivership constant, and GPS signal can fail under the thick canopy. For those who get lost, survival can be raised against nature. One of the most well-known real-life survival stories involves Julian Koepka, a German teenager who survived a plane crash in 1971 over the Peruvian Amazon. With no survival gear, she walked for 11 days through dangerous terrain, surviving on rainwater and instant before finally finding help. Her survival was extraordinary, but many others have been not so fortunate. Explorers, researchers, and tourists had disappeared during expeditions into remote areas. In some cases, search teams find abandoned campsite, equipment left behind, or trails that suddenly end without explanation. For centuries, the Amazon rainforest has inspired myths of hidden world, supernatural force, and unexplained disappearance. But beyond legendary and fear, science offers another perspective, one that reveals that the Amazon is not a mystical anomaly, but not as one of the most complex nature systems ever studied on Earth. Scientists often describe the Amazon as a planet-living engine. The forest plays a critical role in regulating global climate through a process known as evapotranspiration. Billions of trees release massive amounts of water vapor into the atmosphere every day. This moisture forms vast flying river, airborne current that transport rain across South America and even influence weather patterns across the entire planet. In fact, research estimates that the Amazon produces roughly 20% of the world's fresh water flowing into oceans, primarily through the Amazon River system. Without this immense hydrological cycle, global climate stability would look very different. One of the most fascinating scientific discoveries is how the forest sustains itself despite surprisingly poor soil. Unlike temperate forests, most Amazonian soil contains very few nutrients. Instead, nearly all nutrients exist within living planets or organic matter. Another mystery science has begun to unravel is biodiversity itself. The Amazon forest hosts an estimate of 390 billion trees belong to more than 60,000 species. Scientists continue to discover new planets, insects, fungi, microorganisms every year. Some areas contain more sea species in a single square kilometer than they exist across the entire country elsewhere in the world. Many of the organisms possess remarkable adaptations. Certain T release chemicals to communicate danger when attacked by insects, warning neighboring planets to produce defensive toxins. Some ants farm fungus like a human agriculture, while others form alliance with trees, protecting them from predators in exchange for shelter and food. And even the forest floor behave differently from typical ecosystem because sunlight barely penetrates the dense canopy but has evolved vertically rather than horizontally. Entire ecosystem exists high above the ground, with animals spending the entire life in the tree top without ever touching soil. Scientists also investigate many of the so-called mysterious phenomena reported by explorers. Disorientation in the jungle, for example, often results from sensory overload. The dense canopy block landmarks, while uniform vegetation makes navigation extremely difficult. Magnetic interference from mineral rock formation can occasionally disrupt the compass, adding to confusion. Strange sounds reported at night, which so distant cold or human-like cry are often produced by wildlife unfamiliar to outsiders. However, monkey can be heard from miles away, creating hunting echo that resemble supernatural word voice. Certain frogs and insects generate rhythm sound that mimic mechanical or musical tone. A bioluminescent fungi grow friendly in darkness have also contributed to story of ghostly light floating among trees. Just scientists continue to uncover mysteries that remain unsolved. Researchers have discovered vast underground fungal networks linking tree roots together in systems we call the World Wide Web. Through this network, trees exchange nutrition and chemical signals, suggesting a level of ecosystem cooperation once thought impossible. Satellite image has revealed unhidden ancient earthwork, geometric pattern and settlement circle buried beneath vegetation, proving that human-shaped part of the Amazon far more extensive than previous belief. Even today's last sections of rainforest remain scientifically unexplored. Some valleys are so isolated that the researchers believe undiscovered species and possibly unknown ecological processes still exist. Modern technology, including drone genetic sequencing and remote sensing, is helping scientists unlock this secret, yet every answer seems to reveal new questions. What science ultimately shows is that the Amazon mystery does not come from the supernatural, but comes from complexity beyond human scale. Rainforest operate as a self-regulating superorganism, a living network of water, soil, planet, animal, and atmosphere working together in delicate balance. And perhaps the realization is more astonishing than any dead legend. But that even with all humans, unlike desert and frozen mountain, the Amazon does not look hostile at the first glance. The water is everywhere, plants grow abundantly, wildlife surround you, yet the illusion of abundant high, one of the most dangerous environments on Earth. The first come from wildlife. The Amazon is home to, on some planets, enormous powerful creature. The green anaconda, one of the largest snakes in existence, moves silently through river and swam capable of overpowering large animals. The jaguar, the forest top predator, possesses a spine strong enough to pierce skull and shell. Unlike many big cats, jaguars excel in swimmer and ambush hunter, making encounter extremely unpredictable. But large predator does not the greatest risk. Smaller creatures often pose far greater danger. The Brazilian squander spiral carrier, non-powerful enough to cause severe medical emergency, poison dart for display bright color that warn predator of tossing capable of stopping a hub. Even insect, mosquito, ants, and fly can transmit disease. In the Amazon, danger is not often tiny, hidden, and unavoidable. Then come from terrain itself. The forest floor is uneven, slippery, and constantly changing. Thick vegetation blocks invisibility, while fallen branches hide and hold, and taproot create natural trap. Now heavy rain transform paveway into mud within minutes. Navigation become one of the greatest challenge. This then can rapidly block sunlight, making it difficult to determine the direction. Landmarks look identical in every direction, causing even experienced explorers to walk in circles without realizing. Many lost travelers unknowingly move further away from safety while believing they are heading towards civilization. Environmental hazard add another layer of danger. Humidity often reach extreme level, preventing sweat from evaporating and increasing risk of health and heat exhaustion. Dehydration became surprisingly common despite the silence of water, because untreated water may cause contain. For centuries, the Amazon rainforest has drawn explorers into its depth. Adventure driven by curiosity, ambition, science, and sometimes pure aggression may enter seeking this discovery. Some return with groundbreaking knowledge, others vanishing become part of the forest's enduring mystery. What followed became one of the history's greatest exploration feats. Orion Knight and his men navigated thousands of kilometers through uncharted territory, becoming the first European known to travel the entire length of the Amazon River. During the journey, they reported encounters with large indigenous civilizations and fierce warrior tribes. Some accounts even describe female fighters inspiring in the Amazon of referencing the warrior of Greek mythology. Century later, another expedition captured global fascination. The mysterious search of a lost civilization by British explorers in the early 20th century. Forces became convinced that an advanced ancient city, which called Zia, exists somewhere deep in Amazon basin. In 1925, Forces, along with his son and companion, entered the jungle determined to prove his theory. They were the last seen heading toward remote trees in the Bay, Brazil. After that, they disappeared completely. Numerous rescue missions attempted to find them. Some search teams claimed to discover few, others encountered hostile terrorists and danger itself. None confirmed Forces' fate. His disappearance transformed him into a legend and strengthened the idea that the Amazon hides secret capable of swallowing even the most prepared explorer. The expedition quickly turned perilous. Members faced starvation, disease, insect infestations, and deadly rapid equipment were lost. Supplier Dewan and Roosevelt himself nearly died from infection and exhaustion. Despite this hardship, the team successfully mapped the river, contributing valuable scientific knowledge about the region's geography. Their journey demonstrates that even experienced leaders and well-organized teams were vulnerable to the rainforest's relentless challenge. Throughout the 20th and 21st century, scientific expedition has continued to push deeper into unexplored regions. Biodiversity and the role of these conservation and discover new species, isolated indigenous tribes, and ancient earthwork beneath dense vegetation. Modern technology, drone satellite imaging, and GPS mapping has made exploring safer, yet large portion of Amazon remain poorly understood. What makes Amazon exploration unique is that successful never guaranteed. Unlike mountains submit a polar route, the rainforest constantly change. Rivers shift course, so disappear overnight. Weather transforms safe terrain into deadly obstacle within hours. Each expedition, whether triumph, pain, or tragic, add another chapter to humanity's relationship with the world's largest struggle. And despite centuries of exploration, the Amazon still resists completing understanding. And even today, there are places where no recorded human journey exists, regions untouched, unseen, and silent beneath the canopy. The greater explorations may still lie ahead, waiting for those brave enough to answer the unknown. After a century of legends, expedition, disappearance, and scientific discovery, one unsettling question remains: what truly makes the Amazon rainforest dangerous? It no monster hiding in the shadow. It's not ancient curse or supernatural force. It's the most terrifying truth about Amazon is far simpler. The forest does not need to attack you to defeat you. The Amazon is overwhelming alive. The square matter push with activity, plants compete for sunlight, insects swarm in unimaginable number, predators hunt silently, microorganisms thrive in soil, water, and air. Unlike environment where danger comes from single threat, the Amazon presents thousands of small challenge happening simultaneously, individually. Each risk remains manageable. Together, they become overwhelming. Then come exhaustion. Immunity prevents sweat from cooling the body's causing rapid fatigue. Clean drinking water became difficult to find despite the abundance of river. Untreated water may carry parasites and bacteria capable of causing severe inefficiency minutes. Food is everywhere, yet much of it is inedible or toxic without local knowledge. Another lesser known danger is psychological. The Amazon isolates completely, sound travels strangely beneath the canopy, daylight fades quickly, and night arrives with overwhelming darkness filled with unfamiliar noise. Prolonged exposure can trigger anxiety, paranoia, and poor decision making. Many survival experts believe mental fatigue becomes a greatest enemy long before physical threat appear. As the sun slowly disappears beyond the endless green horizon, the Amazon rainforest begins to change. Daylight fades and shadows stretch across towering trees that have stood for centuries, some long before modern civilization ever existed. The sound of birds give way to distant call echoing through the darkness. Insects hum like the living orchestra somewhere unseen. Something moves quietly through the underground. The forest never truly sleeps. Standing at the edge, humanity feels small here. Every expedition, every scientific discovery, every story told by Amazon reveals only a fraction of its true nature. Despite satellite map and modern technology, vast regions remain unexplored, with places where no road leads, no signal reach, and no human footprint lasts for long. The Amazon reminds us of how modern life often forgets Earth is still wide. It's a world that exists long before us and may continue long after we are gone. Perhaps that is the Amazon's greatest mystery. It does not reveal its secret easily. It does not belong to explorers, scientists, or nations. The Amazon belongs to itself, a living system older than history, wider than human ambitions, and even now, somewhere beneath the dense canopy, river continue to carve the pace unknown species wait to discover. Ancient stories remain hidden among root and vein. So the question remains: have you truly explored the Amazon rainforest, or has the forest simply allowed you to see what you choose? As night fully settled, the jungle fell into darkness one more, guarding its secret in silence. The story ends here. The mystery of Amazon never does.